I'm sure if you've spent time on the internet or YouTube long enough, you've probably encountered one of these streams. Lo-fi hip-hop beats to study to, chill step to vibe out and have an existential crisis to, whatever. We've all heard the melodic, sometimes jazzy, but always chill beats, as visually we are bombarded with mesmerizing loops, animations, sometimes of randoms anime girls, or meme characters that just draw you into the music. But what if I told you the culture of this now iconic musical genre known as lo-fi hip-hop was accidentally created by Adult Swim? Cast your mind back to the year 2001. Over the last 10 years, you've seen the rise of a little-known cable channel called Cartoon Network. Having built their brand over the first 10 years off of children's cartoons, and then in 1999 expanding into anime and more action-oriented cartoons on Toonami, by the late 1990s, Cartoon Network had started experimenting with a few kind of more late-night running blocks of adult programming and shows such as The Simpsons, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and Space Ghost to Coast. After several attempts, Cartoon Network decided to pull the trigger on creating an entire block of programming towards adults. A whole host of adult comedies and action series and a blend of animated and live actions, all shown later in the evening when all of the little kiddies are asleep. Let's call it Adult Swim, shall we, so we know that it's actually for adults. It's got it in the name. For a lot of millennials such as myself, Adult Swim would be one of the first places that I would discover anime, as well as a host of other American shows like Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Boondocks. The first anime broadcast of Adult Swim actually aired the night of Adult Swim's premiere, September 2nd, 2001, the anime being none other than Cowboy Bebop. A cult classic anime that followed the adventures of Spike, the space bounty hunter. The show's fun action scenes and blend of adult themes, combined with its funky soundtrack, making it the perfect anime for the network to feature in its debut. The success of Cowboy Bebop on Adult Swim would set the stage nicely for a few years later on, in May 14, 2005, for Adult Swim to introduce their new flagship anime, Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo follows the stories and rivalry and adventures of two swordsmen, Mugen and Jin, as they join their new acquaintance Fu in search for the samurai that smells like flowers. The show's adult humor, jaw-dropping action, and blend of historic Japan with themes of modern hip-hop culture, combined with its absolutely bangin' soundtrack that blended elements of hip-hop with this jazz Asian cultural fusion. The show is really freaking good. I highly recommend it, even if you're not an anime fan. Little did we know it at the time, but an entire generation had just been exposed to an absolute new genre of music that was beginning to form: lo-fi hip-hop. For an entire generation of people, Samurai Champloo would be the first time that they would hear the melodic sounds and devices of lo-fi hip-hop being produced by the master, the legendary Japanese producer and DJ Jun Seba, or better known by his stage name Nujabes. Nujabes is largely credited as being the kind of godfather of lo-fi hip-hop, often known as chill step or chill hop. Nujabes in his short lifetime would only release 2 studio albums while he was alive, his second album, Modal Soul, in 2005, being regarded as his best work, and in my opinion is actually one of the most influential albums ever, especially for me personally. Whether it was his use of melodic kind of flighty piano combined with deep lyrical rap like in the song Feathers, or his work with Japanese rapper Shing Otu in creating one of my favorite pieces of music, the Lovesick Hexology. Arguably, though, it was his work on Samurai Champloo and anime that would expose millions to his music. Tragically, though, Nujabes would die at only 36 years old in a traffic collision on February 26, 2010, years before the modern rise of lo-fi. None of this modern landscape of lo-fi on YouTube and online media that we see now would have been possible without the works of Nujabes and his work in Samurai Champloo. And it's crazy that here on Adult Swim in the mid-2000s, like 2005, we could see it emerging in anime of all places. And what's even crazier is that back in this time, in the mid-2000s, if you and I were sitting here watching Samurai Champloo on Adult Swim, there's a real possibility that we might have gotten hit with this ad.
Brand new. Long awaited, yeah. I'm back. Shut it down. There's a whole lot of imitating going on, but we're gonna take it back to the basement.
New Boondocks, April 21st at 10:30, Adult Swim.
For millennials everywhere, these Adult Swim bumper ads are super iconic. That kind of classic, wavy, laid-back, melodic, relaxing beats, which we now kind of know as lo-fi, for me are synonymous with Adult Swim and Samurai Champloo. He was here late in the night in the midst of this wavy, relaxing Adult Swim series and bumper ads. Some of the earliest roots of kind of lo-fi hip-hop and lo-fi culture were beginning to make their way into the mainstream, into the world. Largely because Adult Swim had access to arguably the greatest producer of all time, J Dilla. Hey guys, we're gonna get right back to the video, but first I just want to tell you all, if you are enjoying the video so far, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video. We don't get sponsorships around here, so you sharing the video and liking and interacting with it do help me out a lot. So if you would like to help me out, please hit that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and thank you so much for helping me to pay my rent. Okay, back to the video.
Gotta understand, this is why Jay is the best producer of all time. It's one of many reasons that Jay is the best producer of all time in hip hop. Of all time, #1, no doubt. 15, 20 minutes, man. What can you do in 15 minutes? Find your motherfucking sample, you know what I'm saying? The beat is done already, and it's the best shit you ever heard in your life.
J Dilla is regarded by many in the music industry as the greatest producer of all time and has worked alongside Questlove, Erykah Badu, Talib Kweli, and Common, just to name a few very successful artists. As well, the man had his own very successful solo career, but what many people remember him now as is the godfather of lo-fi hip-hop.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
Yes, this story, the story of lo-fi hip-hop, is actually a story of two men, two brothers almost, on the opposite ends of the world, from completely different cultures, but somehow both of them, independently of one another, would arrive at such a similar sound and a similar music style and genre, a genre we now know as lo-fi. Well, actually, now that I think about it, maybe that's just because they were born on the exact same day. That's right, February 7th, 1974, the birthday of both Nujabes and J Dilla, and a day that in many ways has changed kind of music forever. Tragically, J Dilla, like Nujabes, would also pass away relatively young. J Dilla would die on February 10th, 2006 at only 32 years old of an extremely rare blood disorder known as TTP. Tragically, he passed just 3 days after the release of his second studio album, Donuts, an album that really, to me, kind of encompasses this complete lo-fi sound that J Dilla had made his own at this point. J Dilla really has this way of capturing that raw, unfiltered, almost record player-like sound, which many credit to the Royland SP303 sampler, which featured this lo-fi effect on its own button. While both of these artists have passed, their legacy would continue to endure and live on in the genre that they would create. It's actually insane to me that of all places that birthed kind of the lo-fi hip-hop genre, the culture around it, it was Adult Swim. I mean, in many ways, these classic Adult Swim kind of bumper ads became like the modern template for these classic, these like lo-fi study 2 channels. If it wasn't for J Dilla and Nujabes, the two unlikely brothers born on opposite ends of the world, we would never have lo-fi hip-hop as we have it today. But in many ways, it was also Adult Swim and their implementation of these DJs and producers and shows that would ultimately expose many of us to the genre and birth the kind of like modern lo-fi culture that we know of today and see scattered throughout all of these YouTube streams. I just want to say that both J Dilla and Nujabes are extremely important and influential for me personally. I've been wanting to make content about them in some kind of long form way for a long time now, but I kind of haven't felt like I've been able to do it justice. I always found it interesting and fascinating how spiritually connected these two men almost seemed like. The fact that they were both born the same day and just so happened to be influential and genre-defining producers who created such similar sounds, it's just one of those things that on paper sounds so improbable, but when you start to listen to it, it just makes so much sense. If you'd like to see me do a deeper kind of video piece on Nujabes, J Dilla, and the histories and the kind of origin of lo-fi, let me know in the comment section down below. As always, guys, if you did enjoy the video, learn something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts about Nujabes and J Dilla in the comment section down below. Let me know your favorite Nujabes and J Dilla song. And as always, I hope to see you in the next one. Drink your water, hug your mother. Until next time, peace, love, adu.
E40 dropped in a major way, made up his own words that